Hello everyone, VanguardOfValor here, and welcome back to the Sunless Sea. Last time we were here, we reviewed the history of Pigmote Isle, although we did gain a great deal of resources as a result. For now, though, it's time for us to hail Murinia and see what's going on here. Hail Murinia, the Neath's most adorable nation scurries around our legs. Scintillac harvesters drag heavy bags of the island's bounty to their silos. Industrious rodents work hard on towering edifices, some of them almost neck-high. London will never believe a bloody word of this. We can help Murinia resolve a dilemma. An aide runs over.
Hairless advisor, you return to us. Praise the tide. We need your wisdom once again.
Pigmote's island civilization, if we have might, if it has spirit, and it has the progress. Something awaits us. We could give them our results, but we can't do that. With requesting repairs here, we could spend 125 echo for repairs. Interesting. With a Blemigan released here, something unusual could go on. Or we could attempt to steal the Rat's Star. Probably not a good idea. We don't have an 18% chance of success with our current iron skill, and that would certainly not go well for us. Perhaps we'll return here another time, but for now, Murinia is its own country, and we will leave it to do as it will. Where do we head, though? That is the true question. We've acquired a great deal more resources, but we still don't have what we need to get into the Fathomking's hold. If we head down here to the south, we may perhaps find a variety of interesting things, but we risk running out of fuel in our journeys. However, I think that is the risk we will take here. Head down to the south and see what mysteries and fantastical things await us. Heading into the fog increases our terror greatly, but sometimes that is a price to be paid. And so we head out, finding Crab Cake, a small circular island surrounded by the fog. And, of course, we are right next to the Khan's heart. Well, we head south in hopes of new shores. New destinies to be uncovered. Our Z-Bat heads out to attempt to find new and mysterious shores, but as far as it can tell, there's nothing nearby. We'll have to search ourselves, then. And so, southerly we sail, using our newfound supplies and food to hopefully find something exciting. Some sort of beetle has invaded our morsel of ship's biscuit. Well, we can't have that now, can we? We continue to head down to the south in the hopes of finding new mysteries. But as of yet, nothing shows itself. We seek the mysteries of the Z. Our crew has expanded greatly since once it begun. But so far, the sea has been very reluctant to unveil its mysteries. Unveil, even. But still, we sail southerly in the hopes of discovering new shores. A great expanse of nothing is most unexpected. Nothing indeed. Perhaps we are simply threading the needle between unusual sights and finding nothing, but we did find a lighthouse ship with which we can dock. Unusual indeed. Let us dock here and see what they have to say. The Crying Heights are some distance to the southwest. A lightship. Its clear, bright beam warms the way. We can speak to the crew, longing for news of home. We can put a Blemigan in a ship, although it's unlikely to flourish. We can attempt to purchase fuel from them at a great cost. Let's speak to the crew, longing for news of home. Aha! Tea beneath the light. In the bleaching glare of the lens, among the smells of oil and metal, we sip tea and chat, and the Z's terror recedes. But more importantly, we acquire a Z story. Now we can make an acquaintance with the Fathomking, and perhaps we'll be able to acquire much more. First, we'll drop in at the Crying Heights, but then the search for our father's bones continues. We pass Andromeda's rocks. The Blue Prophets, calling the names of those about to die, is what we are afraid of, however. Those creatures most certainly deserve our concern. If we see them coming, we flee for our lives. There they are. There's no time here for us to stay. The Blue Prophets are nearby, and so we must go. Becker Bight is down to the south. We'll take a more cautious path around this side to see if perhaps there's something interesting here. But it seems to me as though it is almost time for us to flee for our lives while we still have them. Is there anything hidden in here? Well, we found Port Addy, although I see no port. Where is this place? I don't know. Perhaps it is off to one of the sides, but as of yet, there is nowhere here for us to make dock. The Crying Heights are dangerous indeed. The Blue Prophets are not to be underestimated. Alright. It seems as though we've found safety, escaping the Blue Prophet's eyes. Although we did not find a port after all. Port Addy must be somewhere over here instead. As it stands, it is time for us to return to the Fathomking's hold, and hopefully gain some insight into the whereabouts of our father. Something just happened. We discovered Gardener's Rock, rather. We're approaching Adam's Way. We found a giant jellyfish in the sea. A number of things changed all at once, which is always unsettling. A jellyfish with 400 health makes a challenging opponent for our paltry weapons. We attempt to escape its sight, and it seems as though we've managed it. A ship heads in as well, but I suspect we'll be safe from its interests as we return to the Fathomking's hold. Adam's Way is some way to the south. That may be worth investigating before we head up to the Fathomking's hold. We are burning through our fuel and our supplies, but thankfully the Cavies did provide us with a reasonable quantity. You've discovered Adam's Way. What does that involve? Adam's Way. Ah, yes. I think I'm familiar with this after all. We found some great, mighty gates to the south. Perhaps another time. For now, however, we will take dock here, and then continue forth to the Fathomking's hold. The Apis meet. An unusual place, most certainly worthy of our interest. On a bed of monumental ruins, warehouses and way stations of shroom timber rise. All ships that approach Adam's Way are intercepted by the gracious, their Presbyterists' splendidly head-dressed coast guards. Presbyterian adventurous? Presbyteriat? Yes, indeed. Well, we could give them a story. A quaint but inviolable tradition governs entry. We must tell them one of 3 stories. In return, we will be permitted to spend a single day in the port. We can tell them a tale of a city recently fallen. News from fallen London would gain us access, but we've spent it already. An unfinished tale, an unread log, would allow us access. A tale of hell, would gain us access with a port report from Mount Palmerston. But unfortunately, we have no such thing. Why are foreigners only allowed to spend a single day in Adam's Way? For your own protection, one of them explains kindly. The soil of the Elder Continent is dangerous to incomers, they claim. Those who linger can contract unfortunate conditions, hysteria, rapture, and nemescence. The rumors that the Presbyterian law offers no protection to foreigners after dark are simply errant nonsense. But unfortunately, we have no such news, so we're unable to enter. Perhaps another time. We can sell our parabola linen here. We could sell a shrine to stone here for an enormous cost. We could buy fuel here for a very good deal, at least a reasonable deal. Foxfire candles or dark drop coffee beans, but unfortunately we have no echoes, so we must leave. We'll return to Apis Meat another time, when perhaps we have what it requires to enter the city proper and learn more about them. For now, we head towards the Fathomking's hold, in the hopes of learning more about our father's bones. The journey is a lengthy one, across the Sunless Sea, but potentially informative. Having never met with the Fathomking before now, who knows what we may learn in this conversation. We are running worryingly low on fuel, however. It may soon become time to return and communicate with those in fallen London to regain our supplies. We've discovered Luckright's Reef. Lovely. To which we will pass westward and continue towards the Fathomking. For the third time, we arrive at Lorcan's Port, but this time we come with a sea story in our minds, ready to pass into the Fathomking's hull. Finally, we can descend to an audience with the Fathomking. The Fathomking is Lord of the Drownies, and we brought him a story to tickle his curiosity. The porter has the skin of a shark. She has a drowned woman's eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. "Yes," she rasps, "that story is sufficient." She opens the valves of pearl and permits us to pass into the conduit, having spent our Z-story. Thus is the salt-blown heart of the hold. The Fathomking floats in his throne, a gem-starred bowl of sea stone, the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water in his throne, his hidden regions pulse constantly, incessantly. We can discuss the matter of our father's bones. We can trade Scintillac for crew. We can witness an execution. We can ask a boon of the king, or we can leave. First, we will discuss the matter of our father's bones. Your complexity, I have a more personal petition. You know something of my father, or of what remains of him. Your complexity, this is a question only you can answer. To open the final gate of my journey to my father's bones, I ask this boon of you. We can speak of other matters, or we can ask who was Mr. Voluminous, and why was the Fathomkin King sending parcels to him. Let's do that. Come now, I will give you the address you need, for the small consideration we discussed, but I won't share personal information so easily. I have my business with the masters of the bazaar. It's not always a pleasant business. He shrugs. There are ripples.
One has one's duties.
Interesting. Let's ask for his assistance then, because it sounds like I'm supposed to do this first because he was talking about things he hasn't talked about yet.
You are fortunate,
The Fathomking announces.
I have only a few small requests. Fulfill them, and I shall tell you what you need to know. Bring me the heart of a legend. Bring me a light from the sky. Bring me a willing guest to stay with me forever. Witness the end of the eldest among its kind, and bring me word. Bring me the fruit of an eternal tree, and bring me something scientific, modern, cutting edge, I believe is the term. My bride enjoys that sort of thing.
He sits back, under regions pulsing with expectation.
You seem quite capable,
he adds carelessly.
I'm sure it's not too much trouble.
Well, that is a lot of tasks for us to do. He's asking for a willing guest. He's asking for an account of an eldest end. Witness the death of something that is the oldest of its kind in return. The fruit of an eternal tree. He's requested a skylight. Sunlight, or something which will pass for sunlight. He's asked for a legend's heart. The heart of one of the great monsters. Mount Nomad, or the Tree of Ages, perhaps. That doesn't sound good. He's also asked for a miracle of science. An engine or a weapon of unique brilliance. Our officers can help. Well then, that is indeed a task. Wonderful. We speak of other matters. The sea presses. The darkness seeps. We move on. I think what we shall do here is ask a boon of the king. We've brought the king a story gift. We may ask a gift in return. It's impossible to know what we'll receive.
Black fire, the king intones, risen from the sea. Remember me with its vapors.
He smiles directly into our eyes. The audience is over. We return to the surface. Hunched, plated, scuttling slaves haul baskets of wet coal behind us. Well, we've gained 5 fuel, so all in all, it could have been worse. But that is what we have acquired. A great, monumental task. Oh well. Perhaps another time we will be able to return here. For now, it is time to discuss things with our engineers. Perhaps we will learn a little bit about the tireless mechanic. It's said we can learn about things with our officers, and indeed, communing with our officers will potentially grant us great things. So it is about time we investigated that. We invite the tireless mechanic to eat with us. His tastes are Spartan. He eats little, drinks only water, barely sleeps at all, so we need only lay a simple table. But we do. Thanks for the meal, and the company. No wine. It makes me sleepy. Oh, yes, I can sleep too easily. That's the problem. He hesitates. There's a draught I take nightly to substitute for sleep. It works well enough, but it keeps me sane and upright. But I wish I could just enjoy one night's sleep. If you could help me. We need a clayman from Polythreme. We'll need a mirror catch box, and we'll need to go to Hunter's Keep. I'll explain when we get there. No, I'm serious. I would owe you a great deal. Well, we have to find ourselves a mirror catch box, which is nothing cheap, and we'll have to find a clayman and bring them both to Hunter's Keep. Perhaps that will be useful to us, but for now, that as well is out of our reach. For now, it is time we leave the Fathomking's hold and journey on. To where do we head? It's difficult to say. We could head over here further east, but we are running low on fuel. We have a decent supply for now that should be able to take us wherever interests us, but it's hard to say if we could afford much of a journey east. We're going to head there somewhat anyway, but the trip will not most likely be a distant one. Hopefully, we'll find something of interest before being forced to return to the waters we know more well. We do not risk traveling too far, however. The Swallowing Isles are a distance to the east. Well, that sounds
entirely safe, does it not? Then again, nothing in the Z is truly safe. Or at the very least, very little. But we head our way towards the Swallowing Isles. Perhaps we'll find something of interest. We've entered the mists of the Sea of Autumn. It is not unusual to find ourselves in unexpected tears. The Untersee is restless. What do we have here? This is not the same port as we thought we had discovered. What is this? We've discovered the Mangrove College. Interesting. Let us dock. The wise and the wicked seek sanctuary here, where the fruits are plenty and the woods are wild. We find a steaming sprawl of parasympathetic vegetation, and a village, barely a village. Holed walls, roofs in disrepair, stilts leaning dangerously. It looks to have been assembled by drunks in a hurry. Dock carefully. We could hire Maybe's daughter. She increases Vale's iron and engine power. This is instead fuel efficiency, which I kind of prefer in this case. A number of interesting things here about Maybe's daughter, but for now we'll pass on that option. We can pick up a passenger. The Mangrove College is named for its scholars and philosophers. They have long abandoned civilized comforts for the life of the mind. Sometimes they want those civilized comforts back. Well, we could take a passenger here. We could eat, drink, and be merry. The philosophers of the college are not hospitable, but the whole shoreline is bursting with fruit and edible fungus. Reach up and it falls into your hand. Pick it up and it's already fermented. We can gather supplies here. We can stop and rest and gather supplies. The college members will grumble, but there's enough to go around. We can attempt to head into the wisp ways to find solace fruit, if we desire, but we would need foxfire candles. We could unpick the mysteries of other lands. If we had 7 memories of distant shores, we would be able to do so here. But unfortunately, we don't have so many. It sounds like it would convert all 7 of them into one secret, though, and that seems like a terrible, terrible exchange. We could unpick the mysteries of the Z as well, with 7 Z stories and 77 fragments. However, there's no way we have amassed 7 of those. We can compile a port report, go beach combing, and put a Blemmigan ashore if we so choose. Let's compile a port report first. That gets us a supply as well. Interesting. The thinkers of the Mangrove College continue their untroubled and sedentary existence. New schools of philosophy are born and die like bubbles. Extraordinary poetries are written in water. The occasional retired pirate tries and fails to get invited to salons. We've acquired a new supply, our hunger is gone, and we have a port report here. We can go beachcombing as well, but I think I'm more interested in picking up a passenger. So let's do that. The principal's, Port Cecil, black and white and silver. Please, take me there. Sooner, later, it doesn't matter. I know how complex the moves can be. Well, checkered character, I am well versed with the principles of Coral. We can certainly bring you there. We will also go beachcombing or gather supplies. Or eat, drink, and be merry. I think we'll go beachcombing, though, and see what mysteries await us on the shores. Ships come and go to and from the Mangrove College, often in secret. We take a stroll along the beach. Perhaps the Z has brought us something. A smooth, dark surface. Something glinting, or a nasty glob of goo. Let's investigate the smooth, dark surface. Someone shaped this into a devil mask and then threw it in the sea. When we look at it, it's easy to see why. Brr. We've gained an outlandish artifact, but that's all for now. Not a terrible recovery. There's not much else here for us, though, so I think it is time for us to leave. We'll leave the Mangrove College behind us and search what else lies in this area. Another island right beside us reveals Tegalar Bay, and the Swallowing Isles.
Let us search the Z. Tiggelar Bay is in fact on the opposite side from where I went, but it doesn't seem to be a port there, so it's not as though we've given ourselves any unnecessary trouble. For now, we simply search onwards. There's a boat ramming into the island there. That does seem like an enemy, so we'll be careful to avoid it. It's only a pirate frigate, and we could probably take it in a one-on-one battle, but for the time being, I think it is safer for us to ignore it for now. The Autumn Islands are some distance to the east. We could head there, then to the Isle of Cats, and then make our way back towards Fallen London. Let's investigate the Autumn Isle. If we can make it there. Unmolested, that is. We've headed into a fog bank, and the terror rises swiftly as we are unable to see where we go. We've reached the Autumn Islands quite rapidly, in fact. The question stands, though, if there's anything here. We found Lipianen Point, I believe is how we would pronounce that one. But there's nothing there. As a result, we head north, back to the Isle of Cats, in the hopes of perhaps finding somewhere we can put to shore. Our crew has vastly increased since last we were here, although we still lack a surgeon and a more interesting mascot. But for now, the sea has been kind. Not helpful, just kind. What do we find here? We've discovered the Reef of Roses and the Airfrox Channel. Visage is a long way to the north, but I suspect we will not make it there on this journey. The Reef of Roses. Most unusual place. I believe we can pass under here. Nope. Ow. We bang our hull, unfortunately, on the reef as we attempt to pass beneath an arch that was not there. Clearly, the Z has clouded our mind. Clearly, we are beginning to go mad. With 6 fuel in our pockets, we make our way towards the Isle of Cats. A most unsettling place at Port Cavendish. We've landed here before, however, and instead we choose to investigate elsewhere. Peter's Rocks stand to the north. We make a risky journey northwards and begin to question the sanity of our decisions. But such it is. The Z inspires strange madnesses in men. And we head onwards towards Port Cecil, taking a brief stop at the mysterious city of Visage. Most unusual indeed. Kapalka Cove. Here we come. However, this is as far as our journey goes on this day. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, exploring the Sunless Sea. If you've enjoyed today's episode, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Thank you again very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, goodbye.